Okay, nothing unusual here, right? Except maybe the young man sort of half hiding, waiting for a girl he's sweet on. And the young lady, she's completely oblivious, totally focused on something in her hands. But what is in her hands? Don't tell me. Wait, is she checking her feed? She's not. Of course she's not. It's 1860. No feed, no phones, definitely no Wi-Fi in the Austrian countryside. But tell that to your brain because that pose, eyes down, fingers curled around a small rectangle, looks suspiciously familiar. And do I see a soft glow from that rectangle? Well, this painting isn't alone. Throughout art history, there are moments like this. Moments that stop you, not because of the subject, but because something feels off. A shape, a gesture, something that doesn't belong. Sure, some are simple anachronisms, artistic choices made without access to historical reference. Others are less easy to explain. But first, let's start with the basics. Artists in the past did not have visual guides to ancient history. They couldn't Google what a Roman soldier wore or even easily access books with pictures of ancient cities or clothing. So they did what made sense. They painted the past using the present as a model. That's why you'll see the Virgin Mary dressed like a wealthy woman from 15th century Flanders, or Jesus in what looks suspiciously like a Tuscan countryside. This wasn't laziness, it was relatability. It made the sacred feel familiar, even if the details weren't historically accurate. But sometimes that relatability came with some awkward side effects. Wealthy patrons, often the ones paying for the work, would ask to be included in the scene, not as background extras, but as devout participants, kneeling in prayer, hands clasped, gazing reverently at the holy figures. It was an expression of faith, yes, but also a bit of legacy building. They weren't just funding the painting, they were positioning themselves within the sacred narrative. To modern viewers, it feels out of place, like someone wandered onto the set of the wrong century. But in their time, it made perfect sense. If salvation was the goal, being present at the right moment, even in paint, might help your case. And if you could also show off your new velvet cloak in the process, sure, why not? Artists also had a habit of blending timelines not just with people, but with meaning. In some nativity paintings, you will spot a crucifix in the background, or dark symbolic imagery foreshadowing Jesus' death. These weren't historical mistakes, they were messages baked into the image, reminding viewers that this birth came with a destiny. And that brings us to paintings that not only feel historically inaccurate, but feel like glitches in the timeline. Take a look at this child in the 17th century portrait. A standard portrait painting, nothing unusual until you look at the shoes. Thick sole, all laced up, and that swoosh-like detail, people swear the boy time traveled in his Nikes. In Peter de Hoog's painting from the 1660s, a man hands something to a woman, something small, dark, and rectangular. Historians say it's a letter, but many argue that it looks like a smartphone. Then there's this man, Nathaniel Olds, painted in 1837. He's wearing green-tinted glasses that could pass as a limited edition Ray-Bans. They were called carriage or railroad spectacles used to protect sensitive eyes from dust, wind, or too much light. But you could have fooled me. And sometimes it's not what they're wearing, it's what's hovering over them. Several nativity and annunciation paintings from the Renaissance feature strange glowing discs in the sky. One painting is even dubbed the Madonna of the UFO, where a glowing object hovers in the background. And my personal favorite is this divine laser beam shooting down at Mary during the Annunciation. To the artists and viewers of the time, these were probably metaphors of divine light, angelic presence, or visionary experience. But to our modern eyes, they look more like visitors from space than visions of heaven. So what are we really seeing here? It's most likely that she was holding a prayer book. But if a prayer book was the size of a phone and someone held it the same way, our modern brain fills in the blank. It's not that these painters were predicting the future, we're just wired to see patterns. Kinda like that doppelganger video I did. Anachronisms in art remind us that artists were, above all, human, working with what they had, imagining what they didn't, and sometimes painting things that feel eerily modern. Before I go, I'll leave you with this. It's a 1941 photo from Canada. Can you spot the quote-unquote time traveler in the crowd? time travel is not real, right? Thanks for stopping by, and see you next time.